Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel Hebraica, Hebrew honey. Today we're going to look at some Hebrew honey in Psalm 139, verses 7 through 10. It's a portion of the psalm in which David is fleeing to very extensive points of his world, east, west, and all over the place. So, in a very dramatic moment, the first part very much of heading to four corners of his known world, and then after that, affirming that the Lord has his hand, has his Yadecha and his Yiminacha, has his hand on him at all times. So on the one hand, it's brings back memories of the time he had to flee from Saul, but then on the other hand, most certainly, and probably this even had some influence in this, in that as he had to flee, he also recognized that the Lord's hand was on him through all of this. So very, very beautiful section here. And so we're going through Psalm 139, verse by verse, and this is the whole psalm, of course, a very beautiful construction of what happens in our lives and how the Lord cares for us. So let's go to it. Ana elech me ruachecha ve'ana mi panecha evra. Ana is where, and it's an interrogatory particle, of course, interrogatory word. It's a contraction of ayin, so to look toward or where. And I also think of these two are the same here. Ana, this one's ana with the conjunction. I also like to think of the hey as a directional hey. So ana, where, okay, pointed out. Okay, ana, elech. This is I will walk. This is a prefix form of first person prefix form. We've got a lot of first persons in this section here. A prefix elech, Ibarach, Esak, Eaziha. I think those are all first persons, yeah. So where will I walk? Where will I go? The hey that forms part of this root here has, well, in parlance, you'd say, hey, it suffered a pheresis or elision. But I always just like saying, hey, the root of this root, the real root, is the lamed kaf. You're going to see the definitions in the dictionary based on the hey lamed kaf. That's the way the dictionaries like to list this particular word, but just remember it as the lamed kaf. Okay, where can I walk? Where can I go? Me, from. This is the preposition from. Long form is min. The prefix form is me, just me, and this is from. So since we're talking about places and distances, and so we're going to think of it as in terms of space. Also, going to be a comparative, of course, but not in this case. It's not really comparative. It is a distance from rochecha, from your spirit. You tend to think of this as ruach. Okay, in the root it would have resh surik patah hey fruit patah, but with the accenting and the agglutination we have here, this is then a sigwal. Normally you'd hope to see a patah right here. Ruachecha, and your spirit, your Holy Spirit. Okay, ruach is actually the wind. Okay, and wind, of course, in ancient times was a symbol of God's Spirit. We find it in Genesis 1, verse 2. Ruach merhefet afanei hamayim, the Spirit of the Lord. Ruach Elohim merhefet al fanei hamayim, and the Spirit, the wind of the Lord, was blowing over the surface of the waters. Ruach, from your spirit. When you're out in the desert, you're going to hear a lot of this. Okay, merohecha. Pretty sure when David was out fleeing from Saul, he heard a lot of this as well. So, ve'ana, and where? Mi panecha, and from your face. Panecha, pen is the face. Incidentally, this always comes in a plural form. You have a construct with a plural form here. So me, and then same thing here as you have here. Okay, you got me ruachecha, you got mi panecha, and the reason this is acidic, this one's a hitic, and this one's because the pe is a labial. So you're going to have just a sound of it. Okay, mi panecha, from the face of your faces. Now we don't translate it. Here they put it into presence. Literally, it is the face. Okay, you have somebody's face. You're in their presence. Okay, so from your face. If I wanted to make this a little more literal, it'd be face. Mi panecha, from your, and it's as I said in Hebrew, this is always plural, but we're going to translate it singular. Probably the reason it's plural because it refers to the two nasal passages here in the front. So mi panecha, from your face. Incidentally, also when the fen becomes becomes hot from your hot face, which then is a way of saying anger. So it doesn't. There's no hum here. So just the face. Okay, from your face. Evarach, I. Again, as I said, first person here. Barach, barach is to flee when you find yourself in problems. I think I looked this up when Abraham is telling Sarai, do what you want with your servant girl Hagar. Hagar flees. Okay, so it's flee, running away. Can I run away from the Lord? These are rhetorical questions. Is it possible for me to run away from the Lord? Does it happen? Will it happen, or can it happen? Just again, a rhetorical question. Where would I flee from you? Can I get away from you? That's the question that's being asked. So then brings up a series of possibilities. That if, Zak, Shamaim, and if I would, Zak, I would. So here you have Samic Kof. Kof, as I've said to you before, is the paleographic or the very root meaning of the Kof is a line with a knot on the top. And so it says here, if I would go up to heaven, if I would climb up to heaven, if I take a hold of a rope and climb up to heaven, and I think probably the closest that people in ancient times had of climbing up to the heavens, it's plural right here, is to climb some very tall mountain, and Mount Hermon or something like that. Even so, of course, it's just a very short distance compared to the real distance of the heavens. So it's shak. If I would try to climb to the highest points so that I could possibly climb Shamaim, Sham. Okay, it's a very interesting construction here because Sham is there, and if you take the word there, Sham, there, you make it into plural, you got Shamayim. Okay, this is then the dual plural of Sham, the their places. Okay, so you got there, and then the their places, that's the heavens. So Sham Shamayim. Interesting to see this connection here of basically derived from the same root. The root right here is Sham, there, and then the there places is heaven. Ata, you're there. Ata, okay. Ata. I was yesterday I was doing the one where Ata appears in the previous verses, and my tendency there was to say, okay, Ata, and then the hey here is providing the comment sound for the pronoun. It also works incidentally if you go Ata, and then you got Ana, Ata. Thinking of this as a directional hey and directional hey, and Ata, you there, and it would be redundant because Sham is also there. So, okay, you, and point yourself in that direction. You're there. If I go up to the very highest point I can find, you're there. Ve a shiach, And if I would lie down, Ashiach, Sheol, Hinecha. So if Sheol, of course, is the place of the dead, this is, we're going to have to maintain the, how I would say, the symbolism, but it is actually one way of saying, if I would up and die, you'd still be there. In other words, Sheol, Sheol in Hebrew parlance is the place of the dead. In ancient times, it was not regarded as a place of punishment, it was a place of being there. And then eventually, of course, in theology, Sheol, the place, if you were to be permanently in Sheol, yeah, then you would, that would be punishment. But just being there or for a while would be regarded as what happens to everyone. So the place of the dead, Hinecha, you are there. Okay? You're also there. In other words, this is really no place in the whole universe that is not under God's dominion. God even has control over Sheol, the place of the dead. So, and the whole matter of in the Apostles' Creed, he descended into hell. We can take that figuratively. We can also take it literally. Of course, the reformers didn't like it being literally, because there had been a whole sense of idolatry, stuff associated with that kind of thinking. But Sheol also, most certainly. And as we know, Christ has conquered death. Christ has conquered Sheol. If we go to Sheol, it's a temporary time. The Lord pulls His people from Sheol. Okay, so Shiach, Sheol, Hineha, you are there. It's also a very comforting message to us, knowing that God has control, has presence even in Sheol. In other words, when a loved one dies, it doesn't mean that person has gone away from the presence of the Lord. He's most certainly still in the presence of the Lord, because Sheol, Hinecha, you are there. This one is Hine, and then it's with a second person prefix pronoun here. This means you are there. Okay? And this one, Hine, means take a look. Hey, take a look at this. Behold. Okay. Behold, you are there. Some of the translations will put a behold in here, but this one didn't. Hinecha, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning, sa, if I lift up, if I climb up on, okay. Incidentally, this is a nasa verb here, okay. Nun shin al, if you take a look at the root, and okay. First person. Okay, no, yeah, these are still the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the sixth, the seventh, the fifth first person prefix form we've seen here. And nasa, if I go up, rise up. Okay. Kanfe, zahar. If I take on the wings, if I climb up on the wings, Zahar is the dawn, the early morning. Okay, Zahar. Okay, when the angels went to visit Lot over in Sodom, they grabbed him early in the morning. Zahar. Okay, it's time to get moving. Okay, Zahar. Wow. I've slept somewhat through the night, but the sun's just coming up over the edge of the horizon. And incidentally, this morning and the uttermost parts of the sea, these can also be understood geographically. And we've also seen this geographical concept earlier on in this particular psalm when we were talking about Kedem and Ahar. Now we had Ohor and we had Kedem before. Now it's Sahar and Acharit. And so Sahar is that very early crack of the dawn. Okay. That's when the angels said, grabbed Lot and said, let's get going. Okay, so this is Sahar. Okay, very early in the morning, before anybody's up, before everybody's gone awake. I want to be on the wings, okay? The wings of the morning. Very symbolic of, boom, heading towards the east, riding the wings of the morning. Kanafeh, Sahar. And these are, the im is still working here. If I would get up on incidentally, it has if here, but this if carries forward from the first two verses we're looking at now. And so, Eshach Kanafeh, Sahar, Sakena, Eshkena, Be'acharit Yam. And if I would dwell, now again, first person prefix form of I, okay, and Shaken, incidentally, the word Shekinah is well known to us, okay, and Shekinah, of course, means the dwelling place of Jehovah, Shekinah, with a Yah here. But this one's to dwell, okay, again, rhetorical question, if I would dwell, if I would live, if I would find a habitation, okay, make a habitation, Shekinah, and Shekan is to live, Shekanya is to Jehovah lives, and Shekinah, I would live, I live, okay? You can see these words are all related here based on the root of Shin, Kof, Nun, okay? Shekan, Shekinah, Ba, Be, Acharit, Yam. Acharit, this is the far ends of the earth, okay? Othermost parts, what's behind me. Now, again, situate ourselves geographically here. Stand yourself in Jerusalem, look to the east, and you got Sahar, you got Kedem, and what you got behind you is Ahar, we saw that previously, and also way beyond that is Be Acharit, okay? Acharit is towards the end. The beginning is Bereshit, okay, and this is Acharit, way out to the back, okay? Acharit, the farthest endest parts, Yam of the sea. Now, Yam here is the Mediterranean Sea, and if we want to understand this in a geographical sense, like I said, we would have to look back all the way to the Straits of Gibraltar, okay? Because in ancient times, the Mediterranean was known as the sea, the large sea, and anything beyond that was beyond. It was they hadn't explored that and wasn't well known. And so, if you want to pick the farthest distance you could pick in ancient thought, in Hebraic thought, it would be the ends of the sea all the way out to the Straits of Gibraltar. Incidentally, there are some great comparisons here with the book of Jonah. When Jonah wanted to take off or wanted to get away from Yahweh, from Jehovah, he got onto a boat and he tried to get to the Acharit. Didn't work. Of course, the Lord sent a large storm and then tossed him into the, well, he had to ask the sailors to throw him into the water, and then he had large fish rescue him, or the Lord rescued him via a large fish. So it didn't work for Jonah to head for the Acharit. So Acharit Yam, to the ends of the earth. What the psalmist is doing here, we're just sort of, reaching the corners of his known universe. Just go as far as I can go away from you. Is that possible? Oh, okay. And now here comes the answers. Okay. Now I've stretched the envelope of known places, and now the answer comes. Gam Sham. Now remember Sham, Shamaim. Okay. Sham, also there. Okay. Reference to where the ends of the earth are. Gam Sham, Yad Ha, your hand. Okay, your hand. Remember, the hand is a symbol of power in Hebrew. Okay, it's the hand, your hand of power. Okay. Ta nacheni. Now this is what I call a Noah verb. Okay, you got nun chet. Okay, nun chet. Like I said, look for the power letters. Okay, here's Sahar, and here's Nun Chet, the power letter, the powerful one of comfort. Now, Noach, words that means comfort or care for, guide, and so that's what's happened here. Tancheni, you are leading me. Ni, now you have towards me. Again, that's a first person suffix pronoun here. Towards me, you are guiding to me. You're comforting me. You're with me. I can go way out into the ends of the ocean, and you're still there with me. Your hand is upon me, is guiding me. Tacha haneini. Toch hazeini. Toch hazeini. Haz, okay, again, power word, power letter. Okay. Learned to call this power letter because it is. Hazeini, okay. Chet. In fact, the Zayin is also a power letter. These two together. Put some of the most powerful consonants in the alphabet together right here. Haz, okay, power. You are strengthening. You are giving power. Also found in another very well-known root, Hazak. Okay, but this is Chet Zayin. You strengthen me. Your right hand, shall hold me, shall strengthen me. Tohazeini. Again, you saw Tachaneni. You are guiding me and you are strengthening me. You got Nun Yod here. That's you are strengthening me. Yemenecha, and this is also parallel. Yadecha, Yadecha, okay, Yadecha. Yemenecha. This is your hand, and this is your right hand. Okay, Yemenecha. Of course, in ancient times, even today, the difference between the right hand and the left hand. The right hand is the strong hand, the authoritative hand, the one that counts. When Joseph named his very last son Ben-Yamin, the son of my right hand, all the other brothers took it as an insult because, hey, Joseph was saying, this is the most important one. This is the strongest one. And of course, it didn't take a while when Joseph named his son Benjamin. But it was the son of his right hand, the one that would hold on to him when he needed it. So, Yemanicha, your right hand strengthens me. Your right hand gives me power, gives me protection. Okay, tochazeini, hazah. Okay, haz. So a very powerful word here. The portion that we've been looking at today begins with the picture of a person that's trying to run away, try to escape, like David, like I said, David he was an expert at this activity, running away from Saul. Get away from Saul, get away from Saul, get away from Saul. And I'm pretty sure that also brought on this thought pattern here. Yeah, the more he had to run away from Saul, the closer he would run towards God. And there's something to be said here on an emotional and on a devotional level. The more that we find ourselves having to flee or try to escape the troubles of this world, those things should bring us to the Lord. In other words, as we flee the troubles of this world, that should be an opportunity for us to flee towards the Lord. And if we reflect on it, think about it like we've seen here, when there are troubles in the world, and we realize where does our help come from? What happens? Our help comes from the Lord. So this is what David discovered here. You can go to the four corners of the earth, and as you go there, what will you find? The Lord is there, and then his hand comforts me, his hand guides me, his right hand is with me. And so, when we find ourselves in troubles, think of it in this way. It often is the Lord's way of bringing us closer to him. And so, if you try to flee from the Lord, really isn't possible. And so open your heart and flee towards him. In other words, instead of fleeing to the ends of the earth, flee towards him. Go to him and feel his hand on your shoulder, and feel his right hand upon you, giving you strength to go forward in this life. And most certainly a beautiful thought, beautiful sense of the way how how the Lord certainly guides us through life. May God bless you. May God strengthen you in this day until the next time. And we'll be continuing the studying of this particular psalm in a future date.